Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is April 5th, 2024, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, U.S. markets tumble. But first, looking at today's major economic events. So at 2:30 South African time, out of the United States, we have an NFP, Non-Farm Payroll number coming out of the United States. Now, looking at the various markets going into this massive number, starting out with the Forex symbols, the major pairs pretty much tapering off. And as spoken about before, the U.S. indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ tumble. Looking at commodities, gold and oil stick to their highs. And as we look at the stocks, it's pretty much across the board where we had the sell-off. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remaining unchanged and really indecisive at 65K. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. First with the Euro USD. Okay, now we got that bounce, okay, the other day, and it's really very connected to the Dow Jones right now. Okay, all the major pairs got that bounce. If you look at the GBP, USD as well got that bounce, but tapering off faster. So we may see a further tapering off here. Also, the Australian dollar got a bounce, but did get a tapering off. Now, looking at the Japanese yen, I'm not going to give this up. This is really very important. Still on its lows. Question is whether or not it's going to make future major lows. Okay, that is something that's still on my radar, and you see it's sending itself southwards, which means that there's some resistance here, major resistance here for making new record lows versus the dollar. Now jumping into commodities, gold still on its tear, okay, right off of its all-time record highs. Yesterday we hit 2303, and just lower from that, crude oil as well on its highs, almost at $87 a barrel. That's a big comeback for oil. Now jumping into the U.S. markets, here we go. The Dow Jones tumbled yesterday. Okay, tumbled. Big sell-off over the past few days. We've sold off over 1,000 points, okay, on the Dow Jones. That's a major retracement. Now, this is ahead of all the major corporate earnings that are coming up in the next 2 weeks. NASDAQ did as well. So now there's a discrepancy between the stocks because some stocks were weak and some stocks were weaker, okay, which is really very important because if you look at Facebook, relatively strong and made new highs yesterday even, but did sell off, okay? If you look at Microsoft, it's a nosedive. It's really a massive sell-off there. If you look at Apple, it's unchanged and holding itself off from making any lower. JP Morgan also breaking that 30-day moving average, just touching it. If we look at a daily, okay, still right between its 8-day and its 30-day moving average. So that's really important also to note. Now, looking at the other major stocks, Amazon did sell off big also. So that happened as well. Now, what's really important is Intel, because we mentioned this yesterday. Intel did gap down and sold off. Now it's selling off even further and hitting its 200-day moving average, which is major. Okay, Intel is a really big bellwether, so keep that in mind as well. Now, lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin really unchanged here. Okay, it's not direction, no direction, either on the upside or the downside. It's just churning between 65 and 67 just the past couple of days, and between 70 and 65 if we want to call it. Okay, relatively for Bitcoin, for $70,000 asset, that's not a big deal. Okay, so take that for a ground of salt. Now today we got that NFP coming out. Most everybody is going to be focused on the U.S. markets because of that, so just keep you aware of it. We may get an extreme move on the upside since we sold off so aggressively if that number comes out positive. So keep an eye on it. This is Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.